I wanted to create an opportunity where people could come and share their stories. And when we open up our hearts, we allow others to help carry our loads as we, in return, help carry theirs. And the more we share our stories, the braver and the stronger we become. Hi, I'm Alicia Bonner, and welcome to EPiK Interviews. The last time I was here, I spoke about colorism, and I wanted to have some gentlemen come on and give their opinions as well. But they are a little camera shy, so we're going to table that conversation for another day. Today, we're going to talk to some amazing couples. They're going to share their stories and their advice on what's making their marriages last and making their relationships thrive. So stay tuned. Hi, you guys. I'm so glad that we are finally here. We get together pretty often, and I believe it was about 2 years ago. We were all at your anniversary dinner. And we went around the table there. I think there were about at least 10 couples there. We went around the table and we all gave our advice to what we believe is making our marriages last, making our marriages work and thrive. And when I left that night, I felt uplifted, I felt supported, and I think it's something that we should share, something that we should share with other people. So I'm so glad that you guys are here today. The intention is that our stories can help somebody else. You know, it's often that we find couples who are suffering in silence. You know, they haven't found their village. They haven't found people that they're comfortable with being vulnerable with. And I'm grateful that we found that. Yeah. And if we could share our stories and help another couple today, I will be so just really excited, because that's the goal. You know, our stories can help somebody. So first, I want to start off with you, honey. This is my husband. Let's go around and introduce ourselves, by the way. I'm Alicia Bonner, and this is
Datuki Bonner, and I'm her husband of 26 blissful years.
I'm Wade Scarborough, and this is my wife, Christina, of 20 years.
Nice. I'm Christina Scarborough, his wife.
I am LaShondra Davis, and I've been married to this handsome man for going on 21 years.
Show your ride. I'm Lamar Davis, her husband, her leader, her confidant. Wow. It's all me.
Okay, Lamar. So what did you tell us that night? What do you think is a key tool that's keeping you guys together?
For us, it's communication. There's one thing that we did learn, it would be communication. And I mean verbal communication, you know, text messages and all that, you know, emotion can get caught up and, you know, interpreted the wrong way. And the more openness that you have with your spouse can really, you know, change. The hard conversations are the things that we may not want to address, but when we do it, you know, I think honesty is the best policy. So if you're upfront with your partner, they might not feel a certain way, but, you know, once they hear what you have to say, they can respond to it, and you guys can adjust together. So.
Okay. How about you, Shay? That's what I call her.
Well, on that night, I talked about the village, and I think that it takes a village to do anything. And it takes a village to have a successful marriage, people that you can go to, that you can talk to. Because sometimes when it's just the two of you guys, like you said, you can suffer in silence, but you also need a different perspective, because someone can just come in and say, well, Lamar, you might be tripping. Or Shay, you may need to look at it from his point of view. And I think it's helpful, because sometimes we can get caught up in how we feel and our emotions are high, and it's just from our perspective. But when you have someone come in and say, look at it this way, calm down, take a step back, I think that's really helpful, especially for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Christina?
Wow. For us, definitely communication, effective communication. So like, I know the times not to go to him if I'm having an issue, like not when the game just starts kind of deal, like know when your partner's ready to talk and when he pretty much is shut down for that moment. So communicating in a way that you know both of you guys are there mentally.
So timing.
Timing is
Very
everything. Yeah.
important, yeah. Learning your spouse, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And respecting their time.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I like the way you think. Who are you? Man, that's 20 years, boys, man. I tell you. For me, I know communication is a cliche term. Everybody says communication, but let's go a little deeper about communication. Communication, why it's so important to any relationship is because during that moment of silence, if you're not communicating, assumptions can now fill the gap for you not communicating with your partner. So what happens is now that one of the spouses now are assuming something that's not really there. You're making something up versus communicating how you're feeling.
Yes.
So that's why communication is very important, because we don't want assumptions. We don't want our spouse thinking something that's not there or making something in mind. Now we're arguing about something totally different that's not even the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why communication is so important. You don't want any gaps while you guys are not on the same page.
Right. And that way you can relay your intention.
Without
Absolutely.
question.
Because it's very important what the intention was.
Yes.
I didn't intend for you to take it that way.
Right.
What
Yeah.
I wanted was
Yes.
to relay this.
Yes. That's why I don't let me and Christina, if we're not in agreement right there, we can't let too much time pass, because I don't want her going in her little corner thinking something that it's not. And then now when she comes back and talk, we're arguing about something else.
True. Okay, but now that since you said that, what is too much time? Because I know this person that's really close to me. He'll like to argue in public. Right there in the middle of the restaurant.
Take care of that business right away. Right away.
Yes, sir. But that's fair. Taking care of it. It depends on your partner. There is really no set time other than you don't let the sun go down on your anger. So therefore, there's a time limit for us to be angry at each other and not in agreement. So depending on who your partner is, with Christina, when I met her, she was somebody, I know people don't like this word introvert, but she was inward.
And it would take, we were talking maybe hours. It could be days. Now, as the years have gone on, it could be minutes.
Right, right. So it took a while, because Christina would go in the corner and she in her mind thinking about whatever she's thinking about, and then want to come back and talk about it later. I done moved on. Because I'm one of those like Datuki. Datuki's like, let's handle the business right there. But Christina's like, no, give me some time.
Yeah. So I know if I say, hey, babe, let's talk, like when I get off work, I can't tell him that, because he will call me while I'm at work. What is it that you want to talk about?
She can't
So
fix me no
that's
food.
the
Second that
timing.
emotion.
She can't
I do
fix
that
me no
too.
food. We can't eat. We can't do nothing until the house get back on track.
Oh wow. Okay. I believe in addressing the issue in a timely manner, but not in public. Let's wait till we get home.
That's
And
true.
especially if you're an animated person and people can tell that this is not a good moment for that couple. And no.
Yeah.
Let's just wait till we get home.
That's funny, because I think a key thing you just said was, and people can tell. See, I'm not really worried about what people see, right? I'm worried about our issue and what we got. And if you start worrying about what they think and what he say and what she saw, then I think you missed the point.
And it's
Respectively.
it's just a level of comfort. So that's one of the reasons that people do see you arguing. But I just don't like to argue in public. I'd rather us handle it privately.
Oh.
Well, one of our agreements is we can't embarrass each other in public.
Right.
So that's an agreement that we have. So there's sometimes Christina, she'll try to take something off me, stuff like, come on, stop that. That irritates me. But I'm not going to do anything to say or embarrass her in public first, and she won't do the same thing. So I understand what you're talking about as far as you want it handled in private, but I also understand what Datuki's saying. Datuki's like, listen, I don't want to feel like this the rest of the day or the time that we're out. So let's get it over with now so we can get the house back on track.
So we're going to compromise. We're going to at least go to the car. How about
There
that?
you go.
And I will say, Lamar is definitely one who wants to handle it right then and there in the moment. And for me, I need space. I need time to process. And I feel like it could really work well together because we balance each other out. If we were both ready to go at it at all times, no matter what, I think that would be very challenging in our marriage. But I think we bring balance to each other.
Nice.
That's the way I look at it.
Finding balance. Okay, honey, what did you say that night?
Yeah, I was pontificating that night. No, you know, I talked about, you know, for me, one of the most important things for a marriage, I called it self-scouting. I gave a great story on a great coach that's self-scouting. Self-scouting means it's easy for me to look at Alicia and point out the things she does wrong. It's, you know, you do this, you do that. This annoys me. Wrong is relative, right? But self-scouting, can you look into yourself and notice your issues, right? Can you sit down and say, you know what? I get angry too fast, or I'm a real aggressive person, whatever. Can you scout yourself and see your weaknesses and then try to help, you know, maybe not correct them, but understand these are my weaknesses and they cause issues for my partner. A lot of people can't look at themselves and see their weaknesses. So I think I do a decent job at it, but I think it's an important thing to have in a marriage. Self-scouting, look inside, see what your issues are as well.
I like that because most of the time, if it's an issue, if it's a problem, the two people involved are contributing to the problem, whether they're aware of it
Without
or
questions.
not. Yeah,
I'm glad you said
that's
that.
true.
Without questions.
Whether you're aware of it or not. So, thank you.
We got here together.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
It don't matter what the issue is. We got here together.
exactly, exactly. Okay, I think that night I said, stay in the same book. It's okay to be on a different chapter, but stay in the same book. And with that being said, it's okay for your partner to grow and develop at a different rate. You know, sometimes we want them to be exactly where we are and we feel that we're right, but it should be okay to just let them develop, even if it's spiritually, you know, and that's something that I had to do. I'm no better than anybody else. We all have sinned and come short.
Come on.
You know, so it has to be acceptance in a relationship, accepting the person for who they are, where they are, and trusting that they will develop at their own time. So I think that's very crucial, you know, when you are in in a relationship for an extended period of time, because you're going to grow and change, and it just may be at different rates, you know.
What you're saying is it's okay to still be an individual in a marriage. What we don't want to happen is we don't want to lose our individuality inside the marriage. But also we have to understand that when we got married, that two cultures, two mergers of mindsets, two philosophies, two financial incomes, they're now merged into one. So now we have to figure out as individuals, how do we move forward together as a team?
Yeah.
So, and it's okay if your partner grows at a different rate than you do. The problem is we don't notice the change in our partner. And then what happens is, here's the new argument, that one of the spouses is walking around upset because the other partner hasn't noticed their change. And so now we're arguing over little petty stuff that's not really even the issue. What we're arguing about is you haven't noticed the change and acknowledged it. And so that's what we really have to notice in each other. You know, when you're talking about everybody here has been 20 plus years that are sitting around talking right now. So what happens is we got to notice that we've changed individually. We have to know that our partners changed. We have to know that our marriage has changed. I can't talk to Christina the first day when I met her and tried to get with her. Christina, she's a full-fledged woman now.
Right.
So no, that's very important what you said.
Right. So yeah, we're totally different people from when we were married. So that brings me to this point. How do you guys feel about being on cruise control with your marriage? So honey, I know that's a term that you love and that you want us to get to. So can you explain that? Cruise control?
Cruise control, it is a term I love. I had a vision for marriage, right? And if you're trying to use the driving analogy, when it's early in the marriage and you guys are rolling together, it's tough driving, right? You're running into all kind of roadblocks, you're swerving, you need to speed up, you need to slow down. You're just trying to get past stuff and fix stuff, and things are blowing up in front of you, and it's a lot. My vision of marriage was once we get to a certain point and get to know each other and we growing and we get a little older and more mature and the marriage matures, we can relax on that drive. And I say put it in cruise control, right? The marriage is in cruise control, right? Where things are just a lot smoother, right? Just like cruise control in the car, you still have to steer. You know, if something comes up, you still got to steer, but you're in cruise control and you're relaxing. And you know, if that bump comes, you can just swerve a little bit, move to the left lane or right lane and keep it moving. The arguments are smaller, they're shorter, right? The understanding is much better. That's cruise control for me. And I want a marriage, you get to a certain point, I want to be on cruise control and relax. And, you know, we've been together 26 years. And we're not cruising like I would like to cruise, but we're going great. But I just see cruise control as the vision for marriage.
So I think there are different phases of your marriage, right? And I don't think necessarily just because you've been married for 26 years that you're going to be on cruise control. Now, we are at a good point in our marriage. I do want to reiterate
Disclaimer.
that. But I also feel that cruise control, or the way I interpret it, is you're in a relaxed mode. And I don't think you can stay in a relaxed mode in a marriage. You have to be alert. You have to make sure your boundaries are being respected, and not just us, but other people are respecting your boundaries. You have to look out for any pitfalls. So to me, I'm not sitting back in cruise control. I'm up, I'm alert, I'm in total control because I want to know that I'm protecting my marriage. You know, that's just the way I see it. And it's just my interpretation. I know he has a different interpretation.
Well, yeah. As you can see, we totally disagree, right? Because you're spending a lot, like we're 26 years in and you're saying I'm spending all this energy protecting and shielding when I think you should be relaxing and trusting in that we're smooth. That's how I feel. All that extra energy you use to protect the marriage, to put it in a baggie so nothing gets in. I don't think you have to do that as your marriage matures. You just have to trust that things are going to go your way.
I think that's how we made it to 26 years. So.
I think it's about, once again, balance. I think there are going to be moments when it's going to be really calm, and there are going to be moments when you're going to rock the boat a little bit. And I think it could take both in order to keep everybody engaged. I think if we're on cruise control for too long, he's probably going to get bored. He likes things happening.
I need it moving.
And I think it can be like about our personalities, really, because you're laid back. I feel like I'm a little bit more laid back, and I think, you know, your personality is a little bit more outgoing. You like adventure, you know, so it could be really about our personalities and what we both bring to the marriage.
True. Very true, Shay.
I think also, like what she said as far as balance, like we have two different philosophies, but if you communicate that to each other, back to communication, and you say, well, this is what I want, this is what I want. So you guys know what you each want, but what is the goal, how to get there? Like, what is the plan? Like, if you want this, I want this. How do we bring that together to make us get there? Like, you know what I mean? You can agree to disagree, but you still have a goal. Because if you have no goal, it's going to go, you know, cruise control. You're going, you know where you're going. You know where you're supposed to go. But if you guys are just here, then you're going to start swerving. No more cruise control.
But I get it, though, because even in cruise control, you still have to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get what he's saying, the cruise control. But, I mean, you still have to make sure you're not getting too close. The car could be slowing down in front of you. So he's saying he's still paying attention, but the bumps that were, I don't know, made a bigger issue before, they shouldn't be making a bigger issue now because you've been together for so long.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Oh, my goodness.
And then also what both of you guys are saying, you're saying cruise control for you is, listen, After 26 years, we should be established. So therefore, I shouldn't have. There's not too much more I need to do because we're established after 26 years, and those issues that were big before when we got married, they shouldn't be that big anymore. You're saying in cruise control, listen, it sounds a little bit too relaxed for me. I need some effort. I need some constant effort, even though it's been 26 years, because I'm adventurous. I like, new stuff. I want to take me somewhere like you. That's you, and that's okay. So like Shay was saying earlier, we just got to find a balance. Neither one of you are wrong about cruise control. It's just you need something out of cruise control. Whatever it is that you need, you're like, listen, we're established. I don't need to, do I have to work that hard? You're like, at least like, come on, I need a little bit more.
I just don't, I'm like, man, I don't want you, God willing, we live in these long years. I don't want you 74 years old looking around like, hey, why is that woman looking at you like so much? Like, it's too much energy.
Because you're cute. I don't care.
You're a good looking guy, but I'm just, marriage, man. You just want to just kind of relax a little bit as your marriage matures, right? And I feel like I feel like we're cruising, but that's just my vision. That's my dream. Cruise control, just relax.
Yeah.
And also, are you saying too, we don't have to work as hard?
Well, I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying, is that part of it? Like, we don't have to work as hard.
No. I don't have to worry about what she likes. Like when you were early in your marriage, dang, I wonder if I should bring flowers. You think she'll like that? I know now. Yeah. I know exactly. I know what she likes, so I don't have to work as hard. I know what I'm doing. So
nice.
But sometimes what she likes changes.
Well, that's what the communication is. You have to let me know.
No gaps. No gaps.
Self-evaluation.
Man, come on.
Self-evaluation.
So yeah.
So you want her to communicate
Always.
every change that she makes.
Not everyone. Keep some to yourself. But
And I want.
I understand. There can be you can get in too comfortable. I hear what you guys are saying.
He said TMI.
Cruise control. You don't want to fall asleep.
Right.
Cruise control, right? You still want to stay. I get it. But I just, small issues now, small waves.
So, I mean, and that's natural. The longer you've been together, you should know your partner a little bit better. Some things should come easier. However, I don't think there's a moment where you say, I'm just going to relax. We got this. Because people change. Events happen in your life that change you. You need different support. You may need mental support. You may need emotional support. And the partner has to stay alert. You have to be observant, to what's going on in your partner's life. There are people that have been together, and we've heard the stories, 40 plus years, and then they end up.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Right. So the amount of time that you've been together doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
You have to stay alert. That's just.
Well, I think the amount of time does mean something. I mean, just because it failed for some people that were together a long time, and the amount of time means something. Right? I can't say it doesn't mean a thing. It's just some natural occurrence that you and I have been together so long, we have a little better vibe than someone's been together 2 years. We just know each other a little better. Years means something.
I agree. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that the marriage is going to work or that you're going to stay together for a lifetime just because you've been together for a certain amount of years.
True indeed.
But I tell you what, we a lifetime.
Right.
We in it.
That's true.
This is so him.
Are you in or you out?
If you already had your chance to get out, it's too late now.
That's what this is. Those are his sentiments. He's like, where are you going?
Here.
You're not going anywhere. You better sit here and work this out.
Well, Alicia, one of the phrases I hate is when people say, marriage is hard or it's complicated. And that's really not true. What marriage is daily work. That's all. You just don't get any personal time off. You don't get any paid days off. You don't get PTO. You can't say today I'm going to put my marriage on the side today.
I need a mental health day.
You got to be present. You got to be present daily.
Yes.
So that's the thing about marriage is, and what people sometimes, the challenge that they face is being present every day. So, you know, we don't necessarily have to be doing something every day. But me and Christina, one of the things we love to do is, you know, we sit and watch TV, movies, we crack jokes, stuff like that. You know, some people may say, oh, that's boring, y'all don't really do nothing. But we do other stuff in our life, but that's time that we enjoy spending with each other. Just watching corny movies and we repeating phrases from movies, stuff like that. But it's that experience that we're gaining together that, like she says, we're not going anywhere because we've built up so much time
Man.
and experience with each other. We fought. And that's the thing about the fight. It's okay as a couple to fight. Matter of fact, we don't know each other until we fight. Because now we have now put the relationship at a test. So now where do we go from here after the fight? That's what I enjoy about. What? Did I hear something? Did I hear the choir down? What? Did I hear the choir down there?
We can go some places after the fight. Just saying.
Yes.
So
Wow.
I feel like sometimes, and I hear you saying being alert all the time, it's work all the time. Sometimes it's exhausting. And sometimes you do.
It
Is that Shay preaching down there? Preach, Shay.
It is exhausting and you feel depleted. And let's not talk about the things that you do like outside of the home. If you have a draining job and draining career, and then you come home and now you have to give more. And it's like, it's exhausting.
It can be.
Absolutely.
Preach, Shay. Preach
Yeah.
that.
Well,
I've definitely experienced those times.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, I mean, that is something that has come up, you know, with us, and I've heard that with a lot of different people that I know, is that, you know, you have an exhausting job and, you know, you have family, but I mean, I don't know. I look at that as, I take that with a grain of salt because it's like you may have a strainful job or something like that, but it's like if you lose that job tomorrow, who are you talking to? Like, I just, for me, I just don't think that should weigh that much because it's like if you're not on that job anymore, guess what? You're at home with me. So to say, well, I'm tired from work, so this is going to go into the back burner, that doesn't work for me. So it's like,
And it's not a justification.
Right.
It's not a
Gotcha.
justification. It's kind of explaining or letting you know that it is a lot of work and it is exhausting. And this is how I feel. I feel depleted. I feel tired. I feel like there are times when I don't know. I don't even have enough to give to myself. At times. Not all the time, but sometimes.
I think you answered it earlier when you said you've got to find some balance. We've got to find balance. For those of us who have exhausting careers, we have to find the balance because we made a commitment to our families as well, and we chose to work, and our partners agreed and supported us working. So what can we do to balance that stress so that I'm good at work and I'm good at home? And you know, maybe this week at work I might be a B plus because I got to give that extra effort to my family. You know, so finding balance is key.
That's actually what I'm doing.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel good though. Like if I'm off at work but I'm on at home, I don't like that. I want to be on in both places.
And we all do.
Right.
But we're human.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to cut yourself some slack.
Yeah.
but if you had to choose,
You got to give yourself some grace.
when in doubt,
When in doubt,
Yeah.
I'm
Choose your family.
Your family's got to get that energy. You know, I'm big on. I was talking to Alicia a lot about moments. You know, it's
good.
With the male, we're an interesting creature, right? And I'm not just talking sex or anything like that, but there's moments, right, where the expectation of something's going to happen and I'm ready for this need to be met, right? And I know you just worked all day or you did whatever all day and you're tired, but you happen to catch your partner at a moment where they really need something, sex or otherwise.
That's good.
They really need something at that moment. And I I don't accept well, I'm tired, so not now. I'll meet
Switch
it.
it.
I'll meet it. I'll meet you tomorrow.
Meet you later.
But it's not. Later ain't that moment, and your partner might not be where they are. And I know it sounds selfish, but that's just how it is. Meeting the moment. I tell Alicia, hey, if your back hurts and you say, hey, honey, I need a back rub right now. If I'm going to be saying, well, shoot, I took the kids all out. I'm tired. I'll rub your back tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's not that moment, and your back might not hurt. You got to meet the moment sometimes. Even if you're tired, and you just have to meet the moment sometimes. Now, you can't have a moment every time.
Right.
It's a lot
But
of moments.
sometimes you got to meet the moment and just do what you got to do to make your spouse happy. And then hopefully your spouse will acknowledge that. And next time, understand. But meeting the moment's important to me.
Hey, Datuki, I couldn't agree with you more. Moments are important. And as married couples, we need to meet as many moments as we possibly can. There is really no excuses for not meeting the moment, because if two shall become one, that means whatever my job is to meet Christina's needs and to hers to meet mine. And it's not just sexual. It's everything. Whatever Christina needs, I need to meet that needs, because we have this thing in the house. She looks at me as Superman. Superman is one of my
Whatever.
Superman is my favorite character, and that's the son of Jarrell. That is Kal-El. And so when that's Kal-El. When Superman shows up on the scene, Superman performs. So whatever Christina's need, on my ringtone is Superman. Yeah. That's how I get up, because that's
Okay, big one.
yeah, listen, my ringtone is Superman. So I've taken on that persona in marriage. Like, I need to be Superman. So whatever moment I need to meet, I'm going to do it. But Christina also has stepped her game up, and she does the same thing as well. So and I get it. Sometimes we are tired. Sometimes, like Shay said, it's overwhelming. Like, man, I'm trying to juggle a career and a family at the same time. I really vibe with Shay with that, because my mom was a career woman. I love my mom. But my mom also had 2 divorces. I'm just going to let that sink in. Because the men in her life felt they were backseat to her career. Listen, I love my mom, but that's just the fact of the matter. I wanted a career woman, but not like that. Not at the expense of my marriage. Right. So I get it. I vibe with you when you talk about you got to meet those moments, but also, Shay, I understand. Listen, man, it's hard to juggle that. Yeah. That thing, man. You got 2 of them, plus you got Lamar. That's the whole thing in itself, right there.
You feel me?
I'm feeling you.
I'm Superman too, though. Superman too.
You are definitely Superman.
Yeah.
You are definitely Superman. But I'm also Superwoman too.
You're Wonder Woman.
That's why it's like there has to be that respect there too.
Yes.
And like you said, she gives you what you need.
Right.
Give her what
Without
you
question.
know.
Without
So
question.
it's that balance.
Without
And
question.
yeah.
Once in
I
a
agree
while, I
with
just
that.
try to be Flash.
I get with you in and out.
Oh my God.
Moments, baby. Moments.
Stupid.
Alicia, I see what you're dealing with.
Said
I'm feeling you,
Flash.
Alicia. I'm praying for you right now.
Oh,
Hey, Flash is dope. Without question.
don't be Ant-Man. Don't be Ant-Man.
So I'm thinking a lot of people, especially young couples, have a vision of what their marriage should look like. I had one. I'm sure you had one. What do you do when your marriage doesn't turn out to be what you envision? What do you do? Are you accepting where your marriage is, or are you taking steps to get to how you envisioned it? Or was your vision, were they unattainable goals? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think we all would have to agree that it's all about adjustments. I don't think anybody can sit here and say where we envision marriage is the picture perfect way we had it envisioned. we've all had to pivot and make adjustments along the way because why? We've changed. I mean, that first 3 to 5 years in marriage don't look like our 10 to 15 years.
That's true.
Especially if you have kids, if you don't have kids. Like, as for Christina and I, you know, we're still working on a family. And so what happens is our lives are a little different versus you guys that have children.
Speak about that dynamic since you brought that up. Speak a little more
Really,
about that.
it's one of those things, you know, I can say that it doesn't look like, especially I don't want to speak for Christina, how she envisioned it. At this time, she wanted children at this time. With me, I was like, oh, we could have waited for children, but now I'm in that mode of wanting children because I'm at that age. But as a married couple, we are more established. So when we have children, we know children can change a life, change a marriage instantly. Right. So now we can look at our kids when we have them and be like, listen, little boy, little girl, we already established. So you just coming into our family now. You're not gonna come up in here and be changing everything. Listen. We 20 years in, and you just came up on the scene.
Yeah.
And then also that you just came up on the scene. I'm just saying. But you know, that also frees us up. Like when we do stuff with you guys, you know, we don't have some of the challenges that you may have as far as babysitters or go. We can just get up and go. So there's a pro and con to that. We want children and we're working on that, but also we get to enjoy the other part as we get to do freedom, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, talking about people's visions of marriage. I think what I'm starting to find out, and I think it kind of happened in my marriage, and I'm starting to hear other people's marriage. Like, both people kind of have a vision, but they never really shared that vision with the partner. Like, oh yeah, I can't wait. This is how marriage going to be. I'm going to do this. This is how it's going to be, and I ain't let her know. So then when when the vision's not being met, okay, now I'm kind of upset.
We're disgruntled and
they don't even know why, you know. And like, well, I kind of always picture.
Come on.
And you know, sometimes she'll tell me, you know, I always wanted this, and I'm like, you just came up with that. I ain't never told me that.
You lying.
They never told me that. But really, it's a vision she had or something she always thought of, but she didn't relay it. So I just think a lot of marriages, they don't relay that vision. I mean, it helps. It won't make the vision happen, but it helps if you at least relay what you see as your perfect plan and just hope y'all can meet.
So we fill that gap with assumptions.
Yeah,
we just assume.
I assume my perfect marriage is her perfect marriage.
Come on.
I have one of my good friends, and I still think kind of their marriage is kind of fake to me. And I tell them that because they've been together like 14 years, and every year for their anniversary, they go away on a vacation. They get a babysitter. It's just him and his wife. They leave the country. They try to go somewhere. But on their anniversary, it's not to get away to relax. They get away, and they reevaluate their marriage every year. And they've been doing this for 14 years. So it's like, this is our goal for this year. Are we going to, upgrade the house? Are we going to do this, that? At the end of the year, they come back, they reevaluate. This didn't work. This worked. How do you feel about this? And they literally plan it out. I don't think I'm that detailed, so I would never do that. But, they literally don't argue about anything. Like, when it comes to even, I was talking to him. He's like, yeah, I told her, she didn't meet my needs sexually. I'm like, yo, that's kind of hard to do. You on your anniversary and you telling your wife that, or she telling you, and he's like, yeah, but we're open that way. We've been together 21 years in a couple weeks, and I'm like, yo, I don't know if I could, you know what I mean? I don't know how I would communicate that. That's not easy to do. You know what I mean? And for the other person to accept it, you know what I mean? When you feel like you're doing all you can and you're like, okay, well, this past year, you didn't really, you know what I mean? That's hard to, it's certain things where you're like, yo, who you talking to? I'm Superman. You know what I mean? I'm Kal-El. I'm Kal-El.
Listen,
you know what I mean? What are we doing? Yeah,
we have to have those hard conversations, though.
I'm
right?
down, but certain things I'd be like, "Yo, can you just text me?"
So for you, You are very direct. You do not sugarcoat anything.
Don't.
Straight, no chaser.
No, man.
So
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Straight
Talk about
up.
it.
straight up. So
Straight up.
for you, I think that's easy for you to say. Like for you to communicate what you don't like about me, what you do like about me, what you don't like about me. So I think, you know, you would probably be able to have those conversations. For me, it takes a little bit more work.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, to be face to face and we have this conversation, like, I know I can say it, but I kind of know what the consequences are of me saying that as well. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to find a softer way to do it. And, you know, I'm about 80% failing.
Well, what
on
you're
that,
saying
but-
is the couple that you just brought up, they've established a set pattern on how their dynamic of their marriage works. So I would agree with you that to me, I would not have that conversation on my anniversary. I would not use my anniversary date to evaluate our relationship. And then that's their relationship. If we need to reestablish, or reevaluate where our marriage is, that's something that's ongoing. That's not something we're doing once a year. Matter of fact, there's been times where Christina will just say something to me, I'll say something to her, and we'll just go, oh, we need to make a change right there. Marriage is a daily work that we have to pivot almost maybe every day, depending on what's going on in our marriage. So if they are that detailed in that 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, then more power to them. That's a hard way, in my opinion, to do marriage. That even though it may work for them, to me, I agree with you. I could not do it that way with her because too many things are happening that we're constantly changing. I gotta wait 365 days before we can
That's a lot of pen.
I would go crazy. I would literally go crazy.
It's a lot of self-control
Man, come
that
on.
has to happen.
Yes. Sexually,
Yeah, because I'm waiting 365 to
365
tell you
days.
that I need this. No, we
I'm
can't.
gonna go find it. I'm gonna go find it somewhere. I'm just sorry. 365 days? I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go find it.
Who does that?
That's a long time.
But we don't know if there are maybe smaller conversations that happen.
I mean, they do have those. I would say they do have those. Yeah.
Well, what I'd like to commend my husband on, and that's what I learned in therapy, to focus on the good things.
Focus on the
You
good.
know, when you focus on the good, sometimes more good comes to you.
Can you say that again?
Message.
Focus on the good. But one thing I did want to commend him on is he does frequent check-ins.
That's good.
So how you're doing?
That's good.
So how's the marriage for you?
That's good.
Really frequently. Is there anything that you want me to change? Is there
sounds like
anything that
that.
I should be working
Love
on?
it.
That's awesome.
And he also does what he says, does some introspective work. And he's doing some on his own right now.
Therapy.
Going to therapy. So I really commend him on that because it takes two of us. We have to check in on each other if we want this thing to work. We have to both be committed to making the marriage work. One person can't do it by themselves. Now, I can say that there are times where one person may be putting more energy or more effort than others. You may get a period where you guys are both exerting the same amount of energy and effort, but it doesn't happen like that all the time. I may be giving 40, he may be giving 60, but we're doing the 100%, And then, we need to balance that out. Sometimes I need to step up, So just wanted to commend you on that.
But you said something that's really key that I want to piggyback on. One of the things that saved Christine and I's marriage, because we were going to get divorced 3 times, is my man.
Say that again.
We were going to get divorced. Listen, for all those out there that's listening, and if y'all,
Because this is important.
If you've been together for a certain amount of period of time and you haven't thought about divorce,
You're on that
y'all
edge.
listen. Y'all ain't put enough work in.
That's right.
Listen, y'all ain't
That ain't real.
That ain't real. It's gonna come up. So 3 times we were gonna do that. But one key thing that a mentor said to me at that time, he said, stop looking at what's wrong about her, look at what's right about her. And once I did that, once I changed my perspective, once I changed, she changed.
I
Just
got
like
more
that.
right.
Wow.
But
Message.
So I can, in marriages, we like to blame the other, but we got there together. So what happens is if I stop nitpicking and stop looking at her and what's wrong with her and go, wait a minute, it's how you looking at her. And then once I start looking at her that way, I changed.
Yes.
And then she all of a sudden changed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. It just happened, Shay. Like I dream a G. Like just like that.
And so when you change your mindset, then your feelings change,
Without
right?
question. Without question.
Definitely.
And it changes the entire dynamic of your relationship.
question.
That's what I noticed as well. You know, you are happy when you come home now. You know,
Come on.
You're not dreading opening the door.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So changing your mindset was key for me too.
Got to change them lenses. How you look at them.
Got to.
Gotta have to look at them because
Optics are important.
without question. Without
They are
question.
very, very important. Okay. Let's see. Lamar, what can you tell me positively about Shay?
All right, let's get into it. This is good. Shay, like this.
No, I'm just playing.
Go ahead, Shay. Take it all in, girl.
So my boo, okay, so she is she knows how to calm a situation. And for me, I'm very, 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 very aggressive in everything I do. One thing goes off, I lose it. And she knows how to calm me down, kind of like the Hulk and the other girl, I don't know. Yeah. And she talked to him and he like, cool. Yeah, like she knows how to calm me down and, you know, deal, you know, with my attitude. And sometimes she give a little much, and then when she gets a little too much, then she goes off. But, you know, she brings me back down, you know what I mean? And that's good. One thing I'll say is, as far as in our marriage that really helped us, we were able to set goals. Like for me, like we talked about earlier, I didn't have a lot growing up. So like I'm always shopping. I'm always buying this, buying that, right? And I spent a whole lot of money over like the first, 10 years of our marriage at least.
How many pairs of shoes do you have?
You know,
Too many to count.
we're in triple digits about maybe. But, you know, as a kid growing up, it's like everything I didn't have, I was like, I'm going to work to get that. Like from 16, when I was able to get a job, I've been working. And I always got whatever I wanted. And I figured out a way to hustle and get it. And I do the same thing for my kids. But as we get older and we started talking and, you know, her career started taking off, mine started taking off, we're like, we don't have anything to show for it. So we were able to set financial goals, and something that she did that was big, and I probably never even shared this with her, is that she started saving money without me even knowing about it.
The stash.
You know what I mean? And when she did that,
Just in case.
yeah, that just in case amount, you know, that just in case money. And, you know, when it came time for us to buy our first house, like she already had that going. And when I saw that, I was like, dang, I'm really failing in this area. So she didn't really talk about it. She just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it spoke volumes to me that even though I'm tricking off all this money, she's still able to save. She's still able to say, Lamar, this is what we could have did. Sorry, you know. I'm from another area. You know what I mean? But like I was able to see that even though she wanted this to happen, she didn't keep, you know, Lamar, do into this, She actually did it on her own and set the example that way. And that's what I'm kind of learning from our marriage. Is like I talk about it, set a plan, and then put it in motion. She just does it quietly and says, I want you to see me do it, because I'm always telling her like, yo, action speaks louder than words to me. That's, you know, a lot of people talk a good game, and then when it comes through, they fail you, and then they get mad because they failed you. So, you know, and that's personal problems that I had.
Whole other story.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's like a personal thing of, you know, and that's why it irks me. But I don't know if you ever picked that up, or that's just something that you do. After 21 years, maybe I should know. But hey, that was something we would talk about. But she just literally, she sets the example and does it, and she does it quietly. So, you know, she's able to set the tone for our marriage.
Nice.
And that's great, because sometimes I would complain about how different we are, but those differences can actually be lessons.
Come on.
You know,
No question.
it makes us a little more open-minded to a different train of thought. and neither is right or wrong. It's that person's experience,
Yes.
that person's upbringing that brings them to that point, and it should be respected.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and not torn down. So that's what I'm learning, you know, to do more and being able to learn from one another. You know, it's different, but it's an opportunity to grow.
Yes.
Why do we make people wrong for their differences?
Right? Why do we do that?
There's no wrong for people's differences. We're from two different places. I'm a hood guy. Christina's not from the hood. That's just a fact of the matter. But I've grown up in two different cultures. I know what it is to grow up in the hood. I know what it is to grow up into a more positive environment.
Did you want to say something?
I thought you were going to say something nice about me next. I didn't know the order.
The order.
And I was waiting to say something nice about my Superman.
Oh man, come on, Shay, give it to me. Let me hear it.
Show you
Let me
right.
hear it, Shay. Shay.
So for me, I feel like Lamar can really hear from God. I feel like whenever God tells him something, he doesn't hesitate. He just moves.
Come on.
He has really great discernment.
Give it to him.
He is able to make things happen. Doesn't matter what it is. He moves in excellence. And I really appreciate that. At times I'm like, that pushes me a lot, pushes me out of my comfort zone, but I know the results.
Yeah.
You know, so he is a results type of guy. He always gets results. The way he moves, sometimes, like I said, it's a little aggressive, you know, but he gets the job done. And it usually turns out and works out well for everybody, for our family,
For other people's family too.
for other people's family
My
too.
credit just
Like,
went up
Real talk.
because of Lamar.
Oh, you know, we do what we do.
She gave it to you, son.
We do what we
She
do.
gave it to you.
See?
Yeah.
She calmed the hope down. See?
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, he really, like I said, I don't like tripping over the shoes. I don't. But it's not just for him, though. He'll be out shopping and we'll get shoes for me.
2 sets of Jordans.
Yep.
2 sets,
Yes.
Jay. 2 sets.
Yes. His and hers Jordans. Yes.
Every color.
And for our girls.
Yeah.
So it's not just about him. It's also, he's like, if I'm going to have nice shoes on, I want my whole family to have
Come on,
nice shoes on.
come on, Shay.
You know, he's a family person. He's about taking care of his girls.
That's true.
And I love that.
So we're about to wrap this up, but I just want to go around the room and tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys. You guys have each individually added to my life. Lamar, like I just said, little things like bringing my credit score up. Lamar is so resourceful. And like Shay says, he's not only for his family, he shares information.
That's true.
He wants others to be better as well.
Yes.
I thank you for that. Shay, I thank you because we're relatives. We're cousins, everybody. And just because you're relatives doesn't mean you have to be friends.
Right.
So
That's
the
right.
relative is not a choice,
You better say that again.
but the friendship is a choice.
You choose your friends.
So I thank you for that. Christina, I thank you. You can say something to someone, and it's firm, but it's gentle at the same time. I'm trying to learn that from you. Like you're stern, but you know, you're not offensive.
Right.
You know, I never get that kind of energy from
Thank
you.
you.
I love that about you.
Thank you.
Wade, thank you for being this guy's friend because he doesn't like too many people. No.
Glad the truth like it.
So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for your effort, you know, that you put forth. Thank you just for being a man of God and a positive influence.
Wow.
So grateful for that. And just thank you for being my partner, my life partner.
Wow.
I want to share this. When we got married, I didn't want to get married. He kind of made me, he kind of pushed me to the altar. But I'm so glad he did. You know, 26 years later, I'm very glad that he did. So he,
Another
so yeah,
story.
just very grateful for you guys. And then the last question is, what takeaways? What do you want to share with couples who may be struggling, who may be at a crossroads, who may be contemplating divorce? What do you want to tell them? What do you want to leave them with? And we can start with Wade.
Uh, Always remember that there's 3 L's of marriage: love, like, and lust. And lust, for all my religious people out there, like, we can't be lust. No, lust means sexual desire. You got to have those 3. But the most important part is the like. You have to like each other, because love, you can just fall in love, or you have a certain love for somebody, like your family, stuff like that, but you don't necessarily like them. Like is a choice. And so one thing about me and Christina is we could not be together if we didn't like each other. If I didn't like to be around her. If, we couldn't laugh together. So for all those that are struggling out there, man, learn how to be friends again. That is the most important part of the marriage, is being friends. I can say without question, Christina is my best friend. I have a lot of guy friends that are my best friend, but at the end of the day, the one that knows me inside and out is Christina. So I would say to anybody struggling, one of the challenges you're probably facing is you forgot how to be friends.
Nice. How about you, Christina?
Likewise, this dude right here is my best friend. And that's huge for someone introvert, because I don't like to talk to a lot of people. Like, being just here, this is a push. It's a push. It's a challenge. Yes. But I would say, for people struggling, there was a reason you got together in the first place. Go find, what was it? Like you said, start being friends again. Fight for it. You gotta fight for it. That's
Yeah.
If you really want it.
Yeah. Because everybody thinks it's easy.
Yeah.
It should go easy, but no.
It's gonna be a struggle if you
work.
really want it.
Yeah. Shay?
A few things, but the one thing that I feel like is sticking out to me is the grass is not greener on the other side.
Man.
Shay preaching.
The grass is greener where you water it. Where you water and
Come on, Shay.
put your love, effort, and attention.
Yes.
That's where it's going to grow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Preaching.
Lamar.
Feel like you're gonna get a divorce? Run. No, I'm just kidding. I would say, don't let your pride get in the way of asking for help.
Come on. Yes, sir.
It's okay to ask for help, because when we went through it, like, we were literally about to get a divorce, and all we could do was ask for help. We prayed to God, but you have to take a step further than that. After praying, you have to do the work. Ask for help. You can get couples therapy. And what I would always say is, men and women should have healthy relationships with other men and women. A married woman can't get anything from a single woman, and a married man can't get it from a single man.
Shots fired.
Like, but that's just honesty, because a single person say, I wouldn't have to deal with that. But guess what? I've been married 20 years. I do have to deal with it, because that's what I gave and said I would do. I'm gonna do the work. So I would say, ask for help.
Family?
Ask for help. Ask for help.
That's Kal-El.
Get the help, and don't be afraid to take the criticism that's going to come with it.
Come on.
Because when you talk to somebody who cares about you, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
They're going to tell you what you need, how to fix it. That's why I talk to these gentlemen right here. They give me the uncut raw, and I'm younger and I take it. I don't like to,
Man.
I take the criticism. That's what I meant to say.
Thank you.
Is it constructive?
Yes, constructive.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know where I was going with it.
All right, honey, what would you like to leave couples who are struggling with?
I think for a couple that's struggling, you have to stay in the fight, man. I know a lot of people some give ups.
Come on.
And you just kind of stay in the fight and figure it out. You can't go away and fix it. You got to stay in the fight, and you got to stick with that old school, the LUV, the love, listen, right? You listen to your partner, really listen. And that you understand, try to understand what they're saying. A lot of people are listening, but they're not really trying to understand what they're saying. And then the V is for validating. It doesn't mean tell your partner, you're right, exact. No. It's to validate, I heard what you're saying. Sometimes you have to repeat what they say. So this is what I heard you say. You repeat what they say, just to kind of validate that you listen, man. If you do that LUV and try to understand what they're saying instead of trying to formulate what you want to say back, it'll help a lot.
Can we take up an offering right now?
you.
My brother Datuki. I love that, man.
Thank you.
Maybe we can get one of those moments after the show.
Moments.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. And I just like to leave it with, like he said, don't give up. We're all imperfect people who just didn't give up on each other.
That's right.
We decided to forgive. We decided to have some long suffering. We decided to just be there, even when it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And look for the day when we're going to feel better, because that moment was going to pass. And surround ourselves with people who are like-minded, because iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
Without question.
We may not want to hear it, but we need to listen to those people, like Lamar said, that are going to tell us the raw truth.
That's right.
About ourselves. So thank you guys for being here.
All right now.